Have you ever looked at a penguin waddling on the ice and wondered why a bird like that can't fly? It's a question that has puzzled many, but the answer might lie in a story as old as the ice itself. A legend that speaks of beauty, pride, and the surprising power of humility. Today, we journey back in time to a world of endless snow and sky, to uncover the secret origin of one of the world's most beloved birds. This is the legend of the penguin. Long, long ago, in a faraway icy land, a kingdom of pristine white and shimmering blue, there lived a group of magnificent birds. They weren't like the birds we see every day. Imagine creatures cloaked in feathers as soft and white as freshly fallen snow. Their wings were long and elegant, powerful enough to carry them high above the frozen landscapes, painting graceful arcs against the pale blue sky. They were the masters of the air, dancing with the wind. Among these breathtaking creatures was a young bird. Let's call him Orion. Orion was special, even among the beautiful. His feathers had an extra sheen, his wingspan was wider than most, and his flight was pure poetry. He didn't just fly, he soared, he pirouetted, he commanded the skies. But with great talent often comes great pride, and Arion was bursting with it. He saw his grace not as a gift, but as a right, a testament to his superiority. Every day was a performance. As the other birds took to the sky for their daily journeys, Arion would wait. He'd let them get a head start, then launch himself into the air with a dramatic flourish. He'd spiral upwards, a flash of white against the sun, deliberately overtaking his friends and family. A triumphant laugh would echo from the heights as he looked down upon them, tiny specks against the vast white expanse. Look at them crawl. He'd think to himself, his voice, as beautiful as his form, was often used for bragging. No one can fly as high and as fast as I can, he would declare to anyone who would listen, and even to those who wouldn't. He'd land amidst a crowd, preening his feathers, his head held high. I am the most beautiful, the most powerful bird in the entire world. The sky itself bows to my wings. His words were sharp, and they often stung those who were slower or less agile, but Arion was too blinded by his own reflection in the ice to notice the hurt in their eyes. He believed his own hype, convinced he was invincible. One fateful day, the sky began to change. The usual gentle blue turned a bruised, angry grey. The wind, once a playful partner in their aerial dances, began to howl with a menacing voice. A great storm, a blizzard of epic proportions, was descending upon their icy home. The elder birds, wise from years of reading the sky, urged everyone to find shelter immediately. This is no ordinary squall. The wind has teeth today, they warned. But Arion heard their caution not as wisdom, but as a challenge. While others huddled together in sheltered coves, Orion saw an opportunity. A storm, he scoffed. This is the perfect stage to prove my unrivaled strength. He saw the churning dark clouds not as a threat, but as a mountain to be conquered. He was determined to fly higher than the storm itself, to break through the darkness and emerge into the calm, sunlit sky above. It would be his greatest feat, a story they would tell for generations. "They will see my power," he declared to the roaring wind, "and they will never doubt me again." With a defiant cry, he launched himself into the blizzard. The wind hit him like a physical blow, a solid wall of force. Snow, thick and wet, pelted his feathers, blinding him. But Orion was resolute. He beat his long, elegant wings with all his might, fighting for every inch of altitude. He pushed higher and higher, the world below disappearing into a swirling vortex of white. For a moment, he thought he was winning. He was above the main flurry. The wind was chaotic, but he was still climbing. His pride surged. But the storm was a beast far greater than he had imagined. Just as he felt a glimmer of triumph, a ferocious gust, a true monster of the air, slammed into him. It was no gentle push. It was a violent spinning throw. His magnificent wings, his pride and joy, were twisted and contorted. He lost all control, tumbling end over end through the freezing, chaotic air. His confident cry turned into a shriek of terror as he was flung downwards, down, down, into the churning black waters of the freezing ocean. The shock of the icy water was absolute. It stole his breath and pierced him to the bone. Panic set in. He thrashed wildly, trying to beat his wings, trying to lift himself out of the frigid grip of the sea. But his beautiful snow-white feathers, once his glory, were now his curse. They were completely soaked, heavy as lead, dragging him down. The intricate structure that once caught the wind now only caught the water. Flight was impossible. He was grounded, trapped in an element he had only ever looked down upon. With every ounce of his remaining strength, he swam. It was clumsy and desperate, a far cry from his previous grace. He finally dragged his shivering body onto an ice floe, collapsing in a heap of soaked, matted feathers. The cold was seeping into his very soul. He was defeated, humiliated, and utterly alone. He looked at his wings, the wings that had made him the king of the sky. They were limp, heavy, and useless. A sob of despair escaped him. Just as he was about to give up, he saw figures emerging from the fading storm. It was the other birds. They hadn't abandoned him. They had watched from the shore, their hearts aching for his foolishness and his plight. They huddled around him, their bodies offering a small shield against the biting wind. They shared their warmth, nuzzling him gently. There were no "I told you so's," no words of ridicule. An elder, the one whose warnings he had ignored, spoke softly. Her voice filled not with anger, but with compassion. "You were so proud of your beauty, so enamored with your own reflection in the sky," she said kindly. "You forgot that true strength isn't found in boasting or flying higher than everyone else. It is found in kindness, in community, and in humility." Her words were simple, but they struck Arian's heart with more force than the storm ever could. Shame washed over him, a feeling far colder than the icy water. He looked at the birds around him, at their gentle eyes, and saw everything he had been missing. He had been so busy looking up at himself that he never looked around at them. In that moment, the proud bird broke. He bowed his head, a gesture he had never made before, and whispered, "You are right. I was a fool." He promised them and himself that he would change. From that day forward, Aryan, the once proud flyer, lived by the sea. He never flew again. His journey of change was a long one. Over generations, his body adapted to his new life. His once long, delicate wings, now useless for flight, became short, powerful flippers, perfect for propelling him through the water. His soft white feathers, poor protection against the cold and too visible to predators in the deep, gradually became a thick, dense coat of black and whiter. Sleek tuxedo that kept him warm and camouflaged him in the ocean depths. He learned a new kind of grace. He was no longer the master of the air, but he became the master of the sea. He could dive deeper, swim faster, and navigate the currents with a skill that was just as breathtaking as his old aerial acrobatics. He taught his children not to boast, but to work together, to huddle for warmth, to care for each other's young. He traded the lonely glory of the sky for the bustling, supportive community of the colony. And that is the legend of how the penguin came to be. They are a living reminder that sometimes losing what we are most proud of can help us discover what we truly need. Though they lost their wings and the freedom of the sky, they gained something far more precious, a new kind of beauty. Forged not in pride, but in the enduring strength of humility and the warmth of togetherness. So next time you see a penguin, remember their story. Remember the proud bird who learned to swim, and see the profound beauty in their grounded, graceful life. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into legend. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a like, and do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the world of myths and tales. See you next time.